Do you have any lotion?
No.
Perhaps give me a massage.
No.
It would help me get in the mood.
So these are the new villains, the new super villains. There are quite a few of them. They are basically strict upgrades to the old villains. They're impossible mode. Starting us all off is Ra's al Ghul, much like the old Ra's al Ghul. At the end of your turn, if you did not buy or gain a card from the lineup, you add the top card of the main deck to the lineup, which is interesting. And in Crisis mode, I guess the lineup does not replenish.
No,
So-
after each player's turn, you put one card from the main deck into the lineup. When the main deck is gone, kaput, if you will, the game is over. But in cooperative mode, when the game is over, everybody loses and nobody has any fun.
Yeah. Essentially, in Crisis, you're trying to solve these problems before time runs out, and time is the main deck. Whenever the game would end that way, you lose. The heroes did not solve the problems.
Unlucky.
Which I don't know how prevalent that's going to be. It seems like it shouldn't be that hard to beat these guys, but maybe it is. So Ra's al Ghul, his actual ability is at the end of your turn, you put this card onto the bottom of its owner's deck before drawing a new hand, just like the other Ra's al Ghul. At the end of your turn, if you didn't buy or gain a card from the lineup, add a card from the main deck to the lineup. Black mana used to cost 8, now costs 10, which is a lot. He also has a lot more blood in his art now. He's more actiony. Looks like he beat up Aquaman. I guess actually all of these guys are beating the crap out of whoever they
Dude,
fight.
someone needed to beat up Aquaman.
Yeah, it's about time.
I'm glad someone did.
His first appearance attack is each player puts all equipment from their hand into the lineup. Which is pretty brutal if you have a lot of equipment. Yeah, there are a lot of heroes that really care about equipment. Black mana costs 3 more to defeat for each equipment in the lineup, which is a lot.
After his first appearance attack, it seems his average cost will be around 20.
His effect, when you play him, you can gain all equipment from the lineup with cost 5 or less and put them in your hand.
A weaker version of Mr. Freeze?
Yes, but you do get 4 power instead of 3.
I was about to say,
if there's a lot of equipment on the board, either one of them is probably going to be good. And if there's not, this is a better backup plan. The next guy is Captain Cold,
Captain
who
Cold.
Also costs 10 now.
Missed you.
He's got some freezy.
He's cost 9, correct?
He's cost 9, I believe. Yeah. His first appearance attack is each player flips their superhero face down. When the villain is defeated, each player may discard a random card in order to flip their superhero face up, which. Honestly, I assume that means if you don't discard a card at that point, you never have a hero again. Which is great. It's Han Solo and the Kryptonite. I think it's really interesting. I think it's a good attack.
It's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Because you have to beat him with a 4-card hand.
It's true.
Essentially.
That's true. So his cost is more than 10, really. His actual effect for if you're playing a versus game is +4 power, an additional +1 power for each foe with a hero in the discard pile, which is typically going to be maybe +6 power, which is okay. Maybe +5. Do you think?
He's a big dinosaur. He's the way Captain Cold has always been. He's just a little better.
His attack is great.
Insane.
Yeah, it's super awesome. It's super interesting.
It's just something we haven't really. I mean. We've seen heroes flip down before, but it used to be kind of a passing thing.
Up next, we've got Darkseid, Darkseid, if you don't know how to pronounce things. His first appearance attack is that each player puts all superpowers from their hand into the lineup, which is interesting. It's probably going to come up a lot because kicks are pretty prevalent in games. There are some superpowers you really don't want to add to the lineup. You don't want to throw away your heat vision. They're also important to your plan, so it kind of messes up your deck.
It also picks defenses.
Well, no, but you can just defend against it.
Wait.
Yeah.
I see.
So I was thinking that there are a lot of the superpowers are defenses, but you just use them as defenses. I'm not going to edit that part out. So the stack ongoing ability he has is that he costs 3 more to defeat for each superpower in the lineup. Very similar to Black Mana.
Yeah, there's a cycle of these. This is actually the superpower cycle. It also does the same thing when you cast him, or when you play him as Black Mana does.
Yeah, just with superpowers. You gain all superpowers in the lineup that cost 5 or less. Put in your hand, if not, +4 power. There are a lot of superpowers that cost more than 5 that may be put into the lineup, especially by his attack. And
Picking up Starbolts,
though. Pretty good. Deathstroke is the next guy. Also looking
4-man dead man.
Yeah,
Deadpool.
Deadman. Pretty brutal here. His first appearance attack is that each player destroys a hero, superpower, and equipment in their hand. Not like before where you get to choose. And it's from your hand, so I mean you're basically just gonna have no hand. It's like Mongol, but it's destroyed, so it's
it's
way worse. It's the non-villain non-starter, which is how it was before. It's flavorful because he doesn't really hunt villains. although I feel like he might in the actual comics. I'm not sure.
Don't
Interestingly
really know.
enough, in Crisis mode, you won't have any villains in your hand because you can't get them from the lineup. It just gets destroyed. So
I see you can't really play around this guy.
yeah, it's going to be hard to build your deck in a way that doesn't hurt you in that Crisis mode. When you play it is to gain a hero and villain from the lineup. If not, get +4 power. Upgrade over the old Deathstroke where you get +4 power if there's nothing you want. You get a hero and a villain instead of just a hero or villain.
Does it put them into your hand?
It doesn't put them in your hand. No, you just gain them. The old one was similar, but I still think this is a much more powerful effect than the old.
Oh baby.
The Joker,
baby.
who is
Let me tell you,
more insane than before.
he has gone further off the deep end.
Yeah, his first appearance attack. Each player puts a random card from their hand into the discard pile of the player on the left. The card has cost 0. Repeat this process.
Yeah.
So very similar to the attack, the old Joker's attack, but
you can't just
can't
ship your opponent's weaknesses.
yeah,
And
his effect was always super powerful, and this one is even more so.
yeah.
Although interestingly, he still costs 10, which is what the old Joker cost. I'm not sure
Push.
why.
Push.
He was already aggressively costed at 10 before. Now his ability is +2 power, like before. And each foe chooses to discard 2 random cards or let you draw 2 cards, which is just double the other one.
In a 4-player game, it actually reads, I don't know if you guys know, +2 draw 6 cards.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to get Mongo.
No.
Especially
Nobody
when you
wanted
can't
to.
defend against
Yeah,
it.
people wouldn't even discard 1 card at random. They definitely
Yeah.
won't do 2, unless it's literally the last turn of the game. The old Joker was, in 4-player games,
Very good.
probably the second best villain, super villain, if not the
Second to
best.
Hector Hammond.
Yeah, Hector Hammond is very good, but
Whew.
yeah,
Whew.
by himself though, without having any other setup, he was probably one of the most powerful or one of the most powerful. And this one is just an upgrade. It's just better in every facet. The only drawback is that it attacks you for a lot more, but that's super fun. So it's going to be cool. The last one I have, Jeff's going to go over a couple, is Sinestro, Impossible Mode Sinestro. He costs 10 with an asterisk, which I can't imagine what that would mean. Oh, look, his first appearance attack is to each player put all heroes from their hand into the lineup. His ongoing is it costs 3 more to defeat for each hero in the lineup, and his ability is you gain all heroes in the lineup cost 5 or less, put them in your hand. If you choose not to, +4 power. Heroes tend to be a little bit cheaper, at least the ones that we like to play with, because some of the more expensive heroes, the Jason Bloods, are a little bit too weak, and the Kyle Rayners are a little bit too strong. So, and like Man of Steel, obviously, way too good.
No way. I
know.
cannot wait until you are playing Hawkman and I flip this guy off the top and proceed to laugh at you at your lack of katanas.
It'll be sad.
Shame on
I
you.
do love a Hawkman deck.
So this is Atrocitus. This is new Atrocitus. He has +3 power, destroy up to 3 cards in your discard pile. That is his thing when you play him. It's very good compared to like Necron, where he's very good when you get him, but he has diminishing returns. The more time you play him, the worse he gets. This, it's worth 3 power all the time. It's a super Lobo. You just can't get stuff out of your hand, obviously. His first appearance is that each player puts his hand underneath his superhero. If you avoid this attack, you put a random card from your hand underneath your superhero. When this villain is defeated, you discard all those cards.
We also have been cutting a lot of the old supervillains just because
their attacks were we all knew how to play around their attacks.
They're also underpowered a little bit. I mean, Atrocitus is a really good example.
+3 power. And that's all they did.
This was the poster child for our cutting decisions, and that basically Atrocitus, the old Atrocitus, was just worse than Lobo. It was just a worse version of a card that was 7 cost and wasn't a super villain. It didn't feel super. So it was. I mean, Lobo felt super, but Atrocitus,
is super.
Yeah, Atrocitus did not. It's just an upgrade to the old Atrocitus, but it makes it much more playable.
I'm super excited to put this guy in the queue, the new Lex Luthor. So when you play him, the old one, you drew 3 cards. James, would you like to take a guess as to what you do with this one when you play it?
Well, yes, you get draw 6 cards.
You draw 4 cards, actually.
Strictly
better than Lex Luthor.
It is better than Lex Luthor.
Barely.
I thought maybe we were pushing it.
Not pushed that much. His attack is actually pretty good. His attack, first off, can't be avoided. Can't defend it. You just take it like a man.
I see.
Hope for the best. But each player gains X weaknesses, where X is equal to the highest victory point card in their hand. Which is good, because DC is one of those games where it will snowball very quickly.
It is very easy to stay ahead once you're ahead.
Yes.
So.
But this Lex Luthor seems like the great equalizer because it doesn't care if you have bought defenses the entire game. It doesn't care if you've been deleting stuff out of your deck. It goes for the throat, and it will mess your deck up. So this is the new Brainiac. When you play him, each foe reveals 2 random cards from his hand, and you may play one of those revealed cards. But his attack is actually pretty interesting. So when he first shows up, each player discards a random card, then destroys the top X cards of the main deck, where X is the cost of that card. So in Crisis mode, this seems especially debilitating because the game is over when the main deck is gone.
The actual ability, I mean,
Sure.
it's much more useful than the Brainiac. You can't get bricked by
I was about to
locations.
say you can't get hosed as bad by someone just being like, oh, I have a starter in my hand.
Probably
Since I'm
isn't that
usually
good.
playing against James the card. It's
Real
very
bad.
very
yeah.
bad.
So I like this guy a lot better.
I'm pretty sure he is the enemy of Mr. John Constantine because I saw a movie with a young Mr. Keanu Reeves in it. Dreamy. Anyway, so this is the replacement to Felix Faust in the original cycle. His name is Hades. He does things. He doesn't do anything like Felix Faust. He doesn't have a similar power or anything, but that's probably for the better because Felix Faust was busted.
Very good.
When you play it, you gain a card from the destroyed pile and put it into your hand. This is the second card in this expansion that interacts with the destroyed pile. The Red Lantern Ring gets way more value when you start playing with these cards.
Also good with Constantine.
You're still only right once. Just repeating it doesn't make you more right. His first appearance attack, though, is each player puts the top 2 cards of the main deck into the lineup. And then they gain weaknesses equal to the cost of one of those cards. If you flip like a 5 and a 6,
or a 5 and a 6 definitely. But if even a 3 and a 4, you don't want 3 weaknesses. I mean that's like losing the Archillo game. I mean I'm just saying that's an actual
the Archillo
attack,
lottery,
and that's like the most tame version.
Sure.
I mean you can flip a 1.
Sure.
I guess it does give utility to the new terrible 1.
Oh, man.
The quiver.
Oh, the value.
Is it a quiver? What is it?
It is a quiver of arrows.
Quiver of arrows
is actually what you keep in quiver, so it makes sense.
It's a good defense in against the Hades attack.
So this one takes me back. I was a big fan of the first Parallax.
Everybody liked the first Parallax.
Mostly because I played before we started banning Mana Steel, and it was real good.
Yeah.
So this Parallax, this is the new Parallax. I still don't know what Parallax is. He looks like some kind of space cockroach.
He is the embodiment of fear, I believe, from the Green Lantern universe. He powers the yellow.
So he's a space cockroach, as I mentioned.
I think he's like a grasshopper or something. Dragonfly.
Looks kind of like a cockroach.
He kind of looks like a cockroach.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So this guy, as far as his when you play him ability, I didn't leave it up there for very long. As far as the when you play it ability, it's shockingly very similar to the first Parallax. The only difference is you get to draw a card, which is it's better. So when he first shows up, each player reveals his hand and discards all cards with cost 3 or less, as opposed to 2 or less, like the old Parallax.
Yeah.
Which you would not believe how the big difference between 2 and 3.
Well, first of all, the cards you discard when it's 2 or less aren't necessarily important to your hand.
They're not great.
Also, it doesn't really hit you at the end of the game. When Parallax would flip up as the first villain on top of the stack, it would make everybody skip their turn, and it would take forever to buy him because he costs 12. But when you flip up at the end, it was just a slap on the wrist, and whoever
discard all the weaknesses out of your hand.
It wouldn't stop you from. It wouldn't stop anybody from buying Parallax. So whoever's turn would flip up that Parallax would flip up on, they would just not get attacked and buy Parallax and have a great deck.
This is the last supervillain, as James mentioned. It is pretty and blue on the back.
Yeah.
It's blue.
It's blue.
It's blue.
So it's supposed to only be played in the Crisis mode and always be the last villain.
He has stack ongoing. Whenever a hero is added to the lineup, each player puts a weakness from the stack on top of his deck. So as the board is filling up, he will constantly make people's hands worse and worse and worse. He costs 13 to start with, so that's no easy feat. But he costs 1 more to defeat for each card in the lineup. And then each player must defeat this villain to win the game. If James and I are on a team, and James's deck is very bad, we have to keep going until James somehow musters enough strength to defeat him, which is going to be really hard because, as I mentioned earlier, James' deck.
It's true. I'm very stupid.
He's real dumb.
Yeah.
I like him. I think it's very flavorful. I think it's a good way to end a cooperative game is by all teaming up and beating up one giant bad guy. His art is actually real sweet. He's a giant space robot or something. I'm not really up to snuff on what Anti-Monitor is, but
he is the Anti-Monitor. There is also a Monitor.
I'm pleased with it overall. What do you think?
I like it. I think it's interesting. It's got a nostalgic feel to it. It's got a throwback aspect.
Throwback.
It's a fresh take on what got us into it, which was the base set. And the base set's gotten a little stale now because we played it to death, driven into the ground. But
to death, if you will.
This is I will not. But this is good. I think it should be fun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking that exact same.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna get to Artillo and that dude. Oh no, it's Atrocitus.
Atrocitus was the one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we definitely know what we're talking about.
Yeah. You're still gonna do it because you don't want the weakness in your deck, and they're gonna do the same thing to you.
Well, it's random.
Oh, it is a random.
Yes.
I see.
Like I said.
Yeah.
It's whatever, man. I'm cool with it.
People like me better, so it's fine.
I see.
I'm saying we could do a Batman-themed DC game.
Thank God.